Hi guys, it's me, Sarah Green. This is going to be my third video, which is going to be capturing my entire week's work. I was planning on doing a daily one, but that just never came to fruition, but this is okay. So last time we left off with my water responses, and I moved on to look at oceans, and something that really intrigues me is the Bermuda Triangle. It's this mythology of ships and aeroplanes going missing, and there's these really crazy and sometimes realistic theories as to why this happens. There's theories that I find ridiculous but more intriguing than the realistic ones, and if the weird ones did come out to be true, I think that would be brilliant, because I'm trying to show the positivities of the world and the uniqueness of it, and basically that this world is not a boring place. There is some interesting concepts. So I'll quickly run through the theories. This is to do with the oceanic trench with the water density changing. We do have a UFO alien one. I put the imagery because I wasn't entirely sure what pieces of island and where the Bermuda Triangle was exactly. We've also got that this is a time portal or time hole, though I don't believe this one, because surely if it was a time portal we would have reports of seeing odd ships and planes during our history or during the modern day, so I don't believe that. And then the theory is that a lot of weather such as tornadoes and tsunamis start off there, so that's why they get caught off. And I actually found a case of the Baltimore bound US Cyclops, which was this cargo ship. It was humongous. It was probably about 2 football fields, bigger than a football field, just vanished. It went vamoose, and it's the 100th anniversary this year, 2018, and I looked into it, and the main thing that fascinated me was because it was so big, how did it go missing? How did it not send the SOS alert? And that really, it's something about it. Though if the trench theory is true, that could have happened suddenly, so they wouldn't have had time. So we then, on Tuesday, I summed up my week one. I said how I started out with transparency, and then I said Bermuda Triangle, and during our discussion someone brought up conspiracy theories, which got me to think of hauntings and creepypastas and just stories in general, which I've been looking a lot at recently in my own spare time, so it is interesting. So I wanted to kind of replicate the waves, because I didn't really know how I could sum up conspiracies in a sculpture. I wasn't really comfortable. So what I did was I actually found some curtain clips or some clips in a random box, and she only said you have to use white. She didn't say white paper. So I basically tried to use everything but paper, because I'm challenging myself. I do a lot of traditional things. So this came out to be one of my favourites. Well, probably the favourite out of all of them, because I hung this in different places, and then when I put it in the gallery I found this nice sort of hole, and I just hooked it in there, so it wasn't attached by tape or anything noticeable. And I said laying in white was more interesting than I thought, because honestly this was, and it was only when I was reflecting on it, or now I'm reflecting on it, do I realise that this can change a lot, just like waves and water, because you can spin these round and you can change the order of them. You can change the order of the cloth, because I found some material. I scrunched up some tissue paper. I even used some of the clips to make a sort of boat silhouette. I made like a bracelet / arm decoration with the t-shirt. I just made sure to keep all the shapes quite curved and soft to replicate the waves, and to me water is really soft and peaceful, but also it can be very intriguing. So what I did was I folded over and over pieces of paper, some of the fabric, and even the back of the double-sided tape leftovers, because I am trying to still implement reusing. That is the same as this one. It's just when I displayed it I decided to hang it like that. These are before and after. And then when we got into the gallery, I saw this plastic cup and I thought, I've got to do something with it. This is too much of an opportunity. So I tried to make it in a wave shape, just like I'd done with this sort of keyring like sculpture. I put the start of it in a hole so it can be secured. I did go back to it today, but it hadn't stayed in, but I only had to simply put it back in place. And this reminds me so much of an island, which I didn't intend for when I was doing this. I was just intending to capture a 3D response of waves folding over and over with different materials. So it's Tracy Island, Thunderbirds, a TV show, Moana from Disney, Florida, because I associate that. Small islands, what I mean is islands just off Dakota Country, Isle of Wight. So when we went to Wednesday, it completely flipped on its head. We had to sort of break down what we were going to do, and the first thing we did was we wrote down our themes. A lot of mine were narrative driven topics such as creepypastas, conspiracy theories. Creepypastas are these online stories where they're mostly based off video games and basically horror stories based off real life video games and media. Try scare people. Some people claim it to be true. And then we did basically quirky things about ourselves, the body. I had quite a few quirky things about myself, habits, favourite places. Some of them turned out to be memories from my childhood, such as hiding under the steps where the net had broken in a indoor play place and just staying there the whole time, not going on any of the fun stuff, staying there and watching. So we also took our collages down to today. So this was Wednesday. I will be annotating this. That is a target I've set myself. I did do these annotations today. So when we went back to... We'll find it. Find it. Why can't I find it? I've done more than I thought. So this collage here, I took all the colourful elements because I'm from this topic. A lot of what I could get from was positivity and good stories because I didn't want my context to be really depressing. So I feel like so many artists tell us what is wrong with the world. Why can't we encourage others and say what is right with the world? What is amazing in this place? And to me, bright colours had to do. So these are some bits from my collage. My friend, this is sort of a co-op. She did a PVA glue, tissue and string. And she gave me this string because I said, oh, I'll take that, it's white. And it's so much fun to feel. I noticed some, I call it theatre tape because I think it's electrical tape, but I call it theatre tape because this is the one we use to mark out the spots of the set pieces. And I layered out the colours. I used all of them apart from the black one because I wasn't really interested in using the black one. Also just went over my Sharpie collection, showing that. And now I want to go to a response. So this is what I did. I layered all the colours, I think there's about 2 of each colour, on a piece of A4 paper. And then I put it in the printer, in the paper drawer, and I made a peace sign out of ribbon. It turned out darker than I thought it would be. It wasn't as bright as I thought, but I would love to peel these off, or at least maybe do another layer. And then my friend, with that sculpture she did, the one that I said I got the string from, she decided to make a stamp out of it. And something I do as a habit is when I draw on my hand or when there's ink or paint on my hand, is I take masking tape or sellotape, I spread it on my hand and I peel it off to peel off whatever's on my hand. And I thought, let's do it with this electrical tape, because she was focusing on bruises, I believe. This one's interesting. You can't see, but there's loads of white flecks. There's loads of white flecks, which is sort of a layer of skin. I didn't press down that hard, but these are so interesting. And then I try to combine these two together. Think about typography, because I'm looking at also motivational text, and that was going to be start with "You are enough." I didn't get to the enough bit, but I cut those out. I basically did a load of colourful scribbles and then cut these letters out of them, and then I used the tape as the background. You can still feel a tackiness to it, which I really like. And I did try the skin thing, but it didn't quite work out because I think most of the paint from my arm had gone anyway. I thought I need to do more research about positivity, because this is going to be seen by people. I need to get this sort of same consensus from them. So I said, what colours make people happy? Yellow, I understood. Sky blue, I understood. Violet, black, I didn't actually think that would be a positive one, but it's still retreat and relaxation. Yellow, green, optimism, I had the exact colour on me, and silver sage, so all of them I can understand. This one's a bit odd, so I was looking what makes people happy. Could this be a theme I could play with? A thing in the most common relationships, time. Everyone really wants more time in life, which I could totally understand. Slowing down, that's something I need to do a lot more. A personal goal. Acts of kindness, I would like to think that I do that. As much physical activity, that never happens. And fun, which is definitely what this project's about, having a lot of fun with this. So what I did is, I won't be able to show you, but I do have it on me. I'll show you in the next video. I did a response where I wrapped a piece of A5 paper, hold on. Oh no, apologies. A3 paper with purple tissue paper, because that was one of the colourful tones. I then took my ribbon I used for my C pieces, because they were sky blue, and I stuck it on the board. I stuck some of my yellow theatre tape, as I call it, on, because yellow is really vibrant. I actually poured some poster paint on there, and I've left it to dry, so I'm really hoping it will dry by the time I get in next week, and maybe even put in the dried pieces in here. So I was looking at symbolism. I love animals, so I thought let's look into animals. In animal totems, so this is like your spirit animal. I found a website which was brilliant. It had so many different animals, and they are all so unique. Bat, ladybug, lemur, wild dog. Now, I did do some responses, and this is bad because they didn't work, and I still didn't put them in, which is a bad habit of mine I need to kick. And I learned that a lot of these were pluses. Now, my two sheets that are loose are going to vary quite a bit. So I found an artist, again, evidence needs to be put in. This is another bad habit, is just put the evidence in at the time. And she did this wonderful biro, and then on top of that watercolour washes, but they were like these really bright, colourful houses. They have quirkiness to them, and it reminded me of what I call freedom drawing, where I just draw with my mind. It's hard to explain. It's like when you write without any consensus, and it really is very interesting what I produce. So this is something that makes me happy when I'm down. I've got so many sheets of when I do it, so I decided to do it in this instance, and this actually works really, really well. I started off here with the houses. I was inspired by the way I've just basically drew down and then back up. I drew quite sporadically and tried to sort of, I didn't try and link everything together, but I just found that everything started to flow. I started doing a thumbnail sketch of it, which I will be doing. So basically what this is supposed to be, I think, is a flower creature walking on water. Now, I showed this to my tutor. I wanted to get some feedback on this. I was still a little bit self-conscious about whether this would be the correct path to go down, because I still want to experiment with materials and challenge myself. I don't want to just stick with what I'm comfortable with, but at the same time I do want to have somewhat of a challenge. I have started a much bigger piece. This is a 2, I believe, so I'm just going to put that down. No, that's not it. Again, we need to be more organised in life, definitely. I basically started a large scale version of that, and even though it's large scale, I'm still trying to keep the tiny details in it of all the different kinds, and I apologise. This is not something you want to see in a student as she's searching for the paper. Paper. Oh gosh. No. No. Okay, well, excuse the expression. I am such a dummy. I must put in a few sheets behind me on the bed before I got my sketchbook out. So this probably won't be a final piece because I would like to do this on a canvas. But I've started off here and it's sort of led from here. There's loads of different little things going on, and these sort of worm-like creatures here have appeared in my work before, my personal work, a lot when I've been mind drawing. So as you can see, it's very bizarre, but there is some links to it, and there are things that are just going on. And my tutor suggested, which is brilliant, is to jot down how you're feeling at the time. So I was sad then and stressed. I had an argument with someone beforehand, so I was really stressed and sad, and I want to see what I draw like when I'm happy, because I'm actually quite happy now. I've got a headache, but compared to this afternoon's period, I'm much happier. But I will be doing that in a different colour, because I do feel like otherwise you wouldn't be able to really differentiate. But I will be continuing with this tonight. Luckily, this is something that I do on a regular basis, so I can do this whilst doing something else, and it will still come out like this. And so this is my final response. I will be doing more thumbnail sketches, and I'll see you in the next video.